Welcome to our thought for the week. This week we will be looking at the value of service. Have you ever noticed that there's a pattern in nature? Sometimes we see different types of animals living together and both benefiting from that experience. You will of course be familiar with the clownfish living in amongst the sea anemone, both benefiting from the protection that relationship offers. We can also see that a lot of animals live very closely alongside birds. Birds eating and dealing with the problems of ticks and fleas and flies, and the animal giving them that opportunity of a welcome food source. There are also birds who I think must be incredibly brave, who live in such a mutually beneficial relationship, but with crocodiles and hippos, cleaning teeth and making sure that the mouth of the crocodile is kept healthy and free from dirt and bacteria. These relationships do give us an insight into the creativity of the God who made our world. He made it so that these creatures needed one another and benefited from serving one another. Over the last few weeks, as we've been remotely learning in our school community and all living in our own homes, I have been very much reminded of how much we are made to need one another. We've been celebrating in a very public way some of those people who are continually serving us in very sacrificial ways at the moment. We think of our NHS heroes and the people who deliver us our food. But there are many others who, perhaps more hidden, perhaps behind the scenes, are continuing to serve us so that we can have the quality of life that we have. We have electricity. It's being provided for us and maintained as a service in our community. There is food in the shops and on our table. Farmers are busy doing what they do, farming and providing for food now and in the future. What about our teachers? Perhaps very hidden, although some of us are making our way onto social media, but they are providing for us in ways that we can't imagine or quantify, providing us with work to keep our brains stimulated, with that friendship and connection that we need right now with our community, that is our community of the school. Rubbish collection, that continues to be an important part of the serving that keeps our communities going. People who are perhaps not being clapped or cheered, but are still providing us regularly with a service that keeps us safe and keeps our community working well. We have clean running water. There are people behind the scenes making that happen. And there are people perhaps in faraway places making us the clothes that we need day by day. And also the hidden people who are keeping our internet going, keeping our social networks, keeping all of these wonderful things that we can use to do remote learning, remote work, and keep in contact with people even around the world. We are served by an army of people, some of whom we're very aware of, and others who perhaps are doing it but quite hidden. Our verse this week to go with this value is a verse that Jesus said. The Son of Man, he said, came to serve, not to be served. A verse in which he was talking about himself. Elsewhere in the New Testament, we can read that the Son, Jesus, is the image of the invisible God. If we want to see what God is like, we can look at Jesus, the Christians believe. So when we look at Jesus, we see somebody who came to serve. His disciples asked him, "Who amongst us is the greatest?" And James and John wanted a seat either side of him when he came to his throne in his kingdom. And Jesus turned and said to them, "Even the Son of Man, myself, came to serve, not to be served." Serving others is not about asking the question, who is the greatest? Serving others is a way of recognizing that we are all valuable, all essential parts of our community. We were made in the image of God, and God showed us what we are like when he came as Jesus and came to serve us. I read this quote this week and it made me smile. Next to grace, God's free gifts of blessings, I bet God thinks making us need each other was one of his best ideas. God didn't make us to become isolated, independent beings. He made us to need each other and to serve each other. So I have a challenge for you this week. I wonder if you could work out on one given day how many people serve you, thinking about those that you can easily see and those that are quite hidden. And the second part of that challenge, I wonder how many different ways you can find to serve others in that day. It would be great if you could take up those challenges. You can let us know over social media how many you think you've counted who serve you. As we come to the end of our thought this week, let's take a moment to be quiet and to pray. Open my eyes to see the needs of the people around me. I will do my best to serve others as you did. Amen.